Okay, in today's video, we are going to be going through a very common problem that we run into, which is honestly just a really messy Salesforce. The Salesforce is going to be the brain of your company in most cases, meaning most companies at this range that are a tech company making at least $10 million ARR, they're typically in a situation where they run all of their data through Salesforce. And so what I always like to say, it's like the brain of your company. So if you don't have that in check, then all of that data, the brain of your company, is not running right, meaning you can't scale a business if you don't know what the problems are and you don't know what's working well. So what we want to show you how to do in this video is how to clean that up in 1 hour or less, if you were to work with my team and help you guys not slow the progress to your next milestone, whether that be 25, 50, 100 million and beyond. So we are going to be talking about deduping your data in 1 hour or less. I just want to hit on this one more time that we work specifically with tech companies at or near $10 million in ARR. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, my name is Jordan. I run a Salesforce consulting firm called Simply Scale. And obviously, this is the kind of person that we would work with. So if you fall into this category, it's a great video for you. If you don't, this may not apply to you and you might want to move on from here. So the problem that you are likely going to be facing that we see a lot of our clients get into when we first start working with them is something like this on the left, okay? I'll go through these talking points next. But basically over here on the left is you have duplicate data in Salesforce. In this situation, I'm going to talk about how this affects customer service and sales, but it will also affect every other department in your business because like we said, this is the brain of your company. So this is going to affect marketing. This is going to affect your engineering. This is going to affect your finance team. It affects everybody if you don't have the actual hub of your business, which is Salesforce, in check. So for simplicity though, I'm just going to kind of talk about two common ones. So sales team, right? If you have duplicates in here, you got multiple reps chasing the same lead. They're wasting a lot of their time over here. I have 40, 50%. And then you have missed opportunities because they're chasing down things that don't actually matter. You see duplicates a lot of the time happen in Salesforce when maybe it was old contact data. And so we created a new one. And so the one that you used to work no longer has up-to-date info. And that's a bad situation. Or, you and another rep have called on some similar company. You got two different contacts over there. It's the same lead, but you now have it in as two. So there's a lot of different ways of why duplicates happen. But the point is they need to be combined or merged into one so that you aren't wasting time trying to track them down on the sales team. Customer support, you'll see something similar where it's usually due to keeping somebody happy. So and a lot of these situations where you have a duplicate, like I said, it's bad data or it's out of date data. And so you're trying to call an account or a contact or a lead, and it's data that is in Salesforce that shouldn't be. So they got a bad phone number, they got a bad email, they got bad contact info. And so you're trying to reach out to these people to actually help them with their problems, and you're not. So you get delayed responses, you get bad frustration from the client that's actually working with you. And then that leads down to these bottom three here, which are messy operations, lost revenue, declining business. If you have messy operations, think of it just from that standpoint, right? If you can't tell me what the problem is in your business and you can't tell me accurately what's going well in your business, there's no way you're going to be able to scale the business. You have to nail what those points are so that you can hire people to fix them, so that you can improve processes to fix them. And so that's what we're doing here, right? Is we're kind of accepting that, hey, Salesforce isn't the way it should be with our organization. And so we're fixing that problem so that we can then have the vision in the business to know how to move to the next milestone that we're looking for, which is 25, 50, 100 million and beyond, right? So that's how this plays in, okay? So really just reiterating this, which is a messy Salesforce is a messy business, and a messy business is a declining business. Because if you, again, can't tell the problems and you can't tell what's good, there's no way you're fixing them. And so you're going backwards, you're going down. There's no way that you're going up if you're not trying to actively solve those issues, okay? Other thing here that I want to say are some of these points that also are kind of mentioned over here, but sometimes you'll also see this situation that does affect your sales team where they'll actually have a legit lead in there, but because there's multiple duplicates and they've been calling on those duplicates, one that was actually the legit one doesn't get called on and they lose the deal. So I've seen many situations where they've lost, six-figure deals before because they went with a competitor, they moved on, they are no longer interested. You can kind of insert the reason as to why they wouldn't. But the point was they didn't call them fast enough or reach out quick enough, and the person that was interested before felt they were neglected and moved on with a different opportunity. So huge deal that way. That's going to kind of affect you as well indirectly. Same thing with your confused CSMs. They're not calling on the contact or the person. Well, then you're kind of in this bad situation as well, where the client may want to leave when their contract is up, right? You're not increasing the lifetime value of that customer by making them feel the love from all of you guys, right? So that's a huge deal. And then your messed up business reporting we talked about, but just you need to know what your KPIs are in your business and have those as accurate as possible so that you can accurately scale in the way you need to. Is it time to hire someone new? Is it time to fire somebody? Do we have too much fat, right? Like, what is it that we need to do in the business to keep it going? And if you don't have accurate data to back that up, you're not going to be in a position to run it efficiently. Okay, so why does it hurt you? We talked about this, but here's some of that information, right? Which is what we mentioned up here. Very, very similar things, but you're in this situation, tech company, 10 million plus ARR, you're going to have these issues, right? So the duplicates, we said, chasing the same lead twice, missing 100K deals, ignoring real accounts, client neglect, right? Churn's going to happen because of this. All that is going to run down to these red ones, which is stalled growth, and you're stuck at whatever rung you're currently at, whether that's 10 million, 25 million, 50 million, 100 million. You're stuck at your rung until you figure this out. This is not usually a one-time thing. This is something you want to kind of keep up on. But implementing the foundation to keep it clean is going to be something we can do for you in an hour or less. So I'm going to show you why we can fix that in an hour or less and get you out of this stuck position that you feel you're in. The fix is here, okay? I'm going to probably have to move my face a little bit so we can see it all. But again, you're this tech company in this range of at least 10 million ARR. In this one, let's just say you're 12. You have duplicate data inside of Salesforce here. And when we get down to this dedupe solution, this is how we can do this in an hour. Disclaimer here is every company is different. There is never a one-size-fits-all solution to Salesforce, and we always take a tailored approach too. So we want to understand your business. We want to understand what's good for you guys and how we should do this. And so this could take more or less, and a lot of the times we can do it in an hour. Point though is depending on what you want us to clean up, how we need to build this, it's going to differ a little bit, okay, guys? But point being is an hour is usually a good kind of time estimate that we can do this in once we've known the problem. And this is how we split it up. So running a duplicate report, fairly quick and easy. Basically, we would pick where we find those duplicates. So let's say they're the accounts. Okay, we run that. We find all the ones that are duplicates so that we have the info. We can actually identify which ones are duplicates, okay? And we could do that by basically looking at matching names, matching emails, matching phone numbers, right? We can kind of put a criteria together of how those things would be identified as a duplicate. And we'll put that together so that you have that. From there, the next thing we want to do is put together some matching rules, or duplicate rules is what they call them in Salesforce. There's several ways to do this, but it basically allows us to set that criteria that I'm referring to. So we say, hey, moving forward, if they ever have a similar name and maybe the same phone number, we would know it's the same contact. Or maybe they always have the same email. If the email is the same on anybody else's, that's a duplicate because an email has to be unique, right? So we can kind of set the parameters how you'd like us to, but the point is we can set those up so that in the future, if somebody tries to create a duplicate, it'll block them from doing so and say, hey, this looks to be a duplicate that you're creating. We already have this information inside of Salesforce. So it blocks this from happening in the future. From there, we want to merge the ones that were duplicates. So once we've identified them, the longer process here is trying to figure out which ones go to what and which ones we want to use. So that one we usually have to kind of talk with the people that have been doing this a little bit, right? So if it's sales people with their leads, then obviously we want to talk through, which one is it that you're using here? which contact or which lead or which account do we want to actually say is the one we should use. So we'll go through the merge process and then obviously clean up data too. So once they're merged, all should be good. Sometimes we do run into it where there's just stuff in there that's junk and we can delete it, and we'll do that for you as well. So once we've gone through this whole process, you then come out with a much better solution, which is we've identified those duplicates, obviously. We've cleaned up the Salesforce record so you don't have that issue. In a lot of those cases, like we pointed out earlier, you have money that gets saved in between there because we now know who we should reach out to. And then the business is stabilized. You know, where you don't know what's going on, you can actually start pointing out problems, pointing out things you're doing well, and accurately start scaling the business to get to that next rung or that next milestone you're looking for. Okay, so how do you win here? Well, this thing over here, if you guys, this another disclaimer, if you guys throw pizza parties like this at your office, this is probably not going to be a good fit for us. Don't like working with companies that think this is a great way to throw a party. I don't know why this is or how this even turned up, to be honest, of all the pizza parties that get thrown at tech businesses like this. So I do have that though. You do have the chance once you save some money to throw another one of these epic pizza parties that, trust me, your employees really, really love. And the next piece would be all these ones down here, right? So you have your sales reps, close more deals faster. CSMs increase LTV of existing clients. You can solve problems before they get worse. Your KPIs are actually correct on all of those reports. And then the best part about this is we can implement this solution in 30 days or less, or it is free. So you can hold me to that. If we can't do it in 30 days, I'm positive we can because we do this all the time. You can actually just do this for free. You can hold me to that. We won't charge you a dime. And then you can use that money towards some of this extra stuff you're going to throw on this pizza party, right? If this is resonating with you, and again, go to the top. If you're a tech company that's at or near at least 10 million ARR, we're probably a good fit for you on the Salesforce consulting side. Hit the link below in the description. Should bring you to my Calendly. We'll figure out if we're a good fit for you. You're a good fit for us. And if we are, we can get into your business and basically do this immediately.